I'm Steve Wiggins, and this is the Groundworks Ministries podcast. Today we are reading the book of 1 Chronicles, chapter 2, and let's focus on verses 3 and 4. The sons of Judah were Onan, and Shelah, and these three were born to him by the daughter of Shua, the Canaanites. The firstborn of Judah, was wicked in the sight of the Lord, so the Lord killed him. And Tamar, his daughter-in-law, bore him Perez and Zerah. All the sons of Judah are 5. Do you remember your great-great-great-grandfather on your father's side? Perhaps you've done some research on one of those ancestry websites and you discovered his name. And you may have even uncovered some military or civic records about him, but you probably do not know his worldview, how he treated his neighbors, or whether he loved his kids enough to spend time with them after work. You know, regardless of whether you know that guy, chances are your values, that's right, your values for those exact specific areas of life, well, they were shaped by those relatives 2 or 3 generations removed. Values are passed down throughout the generations by those people with whom that we live in close proximity. So to put it simply, values aren't taught, values are caught. And with that in mind, it's important for us to understand that genealogies in the Bible are more than just a list of ancestors. They didn't need to let's fill some pages up so that it looks like a more weighty book. Sometimes authors will do that. They'll just kind of blather on about something and you're like, this is just fluff to make this book thicker. No, these people who were in these genealogies, they're telling the history of a value system. And they're doing it without having to communicate that history in a direct narrative. So when you see a phrase like son of, well, that communicates a familial pattern of either sin or a pattern of righteousness. Basically, the genealogies communicate a lot about a person. They say he is no different from his father, who was no different from his. So the Lord, speaking through the Bible, and the people that wrote these books of the Bible, the Lord assumes that every Israelite would be seeking His word every day. After all, He commands it. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 6 and 7. And these words which I command you today shall be in your heart. You shall teach them diligently to your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, and when you rise up. Deuteronomy 6, verses 6 and 7. So only God can presume that His people, the ones that are called by His name, would be doing what He says. Therefore, He doesn't feel the need to keep telling their stories over and over again. He just mentions the characters, and we should already know that story by heart. For instance, if I mention these names, you ready? Here's a list of names: Forrest, Bubba, Lieutenant Dan, and Jenny. Well, most of you know already. I was halfway through that list and you say, oh, he's talking about Forrest Gump. And then automatically you begin imagining scenes in the narrative of that movie. The fact that most Christians get bored in the genealogies is more a testimony to their biblical illiteracy than a commentary on how boring that the genealogies are. So in today's passage, notice how the tribe of Judah, the family through whom the Messiah would eventually come, well, the tribe of Judah was rife with Jewish people who acted like pagan Gentiles, and also pagan Gentiles who turned from their sin and they acted like righteous Jews. So by verse 17 in today's chapter, King David's own sister is having a child by an Ishmaelite. The New Testament begins with a similar genealogy, albeit a more gracious retelling. Let's go back there for a moment. Matthew chapter 1, verses 1 through 6. The book of the genealogy of Jesus Christ, son of David, son of Abraham. Abraham begat Isaac, Isaac begot Jacob, Jacob begot Judah and his brothers. We just read about Judah today. Judah begot Perez and Zerah by Tamar. Perez begot Hezron, and Hezron begot Ram, and Ram begot Amminadab, and Amminadab begot Nahshon. Nahshon begot Salmon, Salmon begot Boaz by Rahab. Boaz begot Obed by Ruth. And Obed begot Jesse, and Jesse begot David the king. And David the king begot Solomon by her who had been the wife of Uriah. Notice how Matthew chapter 1, verse 1 calls Jesus son of David, son of Abraham. David was the shepherd of Israel, while Abraham was a Gentile from Ur of the Chaldees, a Gentile whom God called and who heeded the call of the Lord. So Jesus' Jewish genealogy, the tribe of Judah, was mixed all throughout, mixed between Jews and Gentiles, because he came to save both Jew and Gentile. In short, he came to save the world. I'm Steve Wiggins, and this is the Groundworks Ministries podcast. Groundworks Ministries operates entirely through financial donations from faithful people like you. And your giving to Groundworks Ministries transforms lives. Would you consider making a donation to Groundworks Ministries today? Because we need your monthly support now more than ever. Donating is secure and it's easy at our website, groundworksministries.com. Another way to help is to tell people about Groundworks Ministries. Share these podcasts with your friends, your family, and on your social media. And of course, you can always direct folks to our website, once again, groundworksministries.com.